House Speaker Paul Ryan is lashing out at Secretary of State John Kerry, saying he's a, quote, shill for Iran. The harsh criticism comes as the lawmakers examine the ramifications of a $1.7 billion payment to the Islamic Republic. Chief Washington correspondent James Rosen reports from the State Department tonight.
With the GOP-led Congress holding fresh hearings on the secret cash payments the U.S. made to Iran in January, payments that settled a long-standing court dispute over frozen Iranian funds and were only disclosed in full in the last 2 weeks, the top House Republican used extraordinarily blunt language to accuse the Obama administration of coddling the Islamic regime.
By bend over backwards, I don't just mean all of these concessions, cash infusions, and side deals. I don't just mean sending the Secretary of State out to shill for Iran like he's the president of the Tehran Chamber of Commerce. I don't just mean paying ransom for hostages.
Ryan's comments came after aides to Secretary of State John Kerry admitted last week that the Iran nuclear deal may have emboldened the regime to become more aggressive toward the U.S. and admitted that they couldn't guarantee every dollar used in the payouts to Iran, $1.7 billion in all and all in hard foreign currency, had been kept out of the hands of the terror groups that Iran sponsors.
That kind of money is going to buy a lot of dead Westerners. And I think that we ought to examine why the payment was made in that form.
At the same hearing of a Senate banking subcommittee, a former aide to Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice told lawmakers the payments did not amount to ransom and reflected a long-standing bipartisan approach.
Indeed, since 1979, each American president has sought to use economic leverage, both penalties and incentives, as a central component of the strategy for addressing the challenges posed by Iran.
Kerry's top spokesman told Fox News the Iran deal is achieving its intended objective, preventing the regime from attaining a nuclear weapons capability.
We believe that a Middle East, with all the problems that it has, is going to be that much easier to deal with an Iran that cannot get and cannot use nuclear weapons.
Asked about Speaker Ryan's comment about Secretary Kerry shilling for the Iranians, Admiral Kirby told me in an email just minutes ago, "We stand by the strength of the Iran deal, our efforts to bring our citizens home, and the pressure we will continue to apply to state sponsors of terrorism," unquote. Brett.
James, meantime, the 9/11 bill that would enable 9/11 families, victims' families, to sue Saudi Arabia or countries that support terrorism still is on the president's desk. Any update?
Well, he's got until Friday night at midnight to veto it. If he fails to act, the president will then ensure that the measure becomes law. The White House has signaled that the president intends to veto it. He was probably waiting until members of Congress left town, but that seems unlikely. So we expect the veto to go forward sometime by Friday. We also heard from Speaker Ryan about that today, saying he thinks the votes are there for the first override of a veto in Mr. Obama's tenure. Brett.
We'll look into this tomorrow on the show. James, thanks.